Working with Megan Ray on the Assignment 2 project. We chose to do China, the United Kingdom, and the United States for our assignment. So I'm going to talk a little bit about China specifically.
Hi, I'm Megan Ray. Like Nicholas said, we are going to be discussing the three countries of China, the United Kingdom, and the United States. With this, we are going to be comparing their different economic values, their economic freedom, and their level of corruption. The first thing we're going to discuss is their economic value, and we went through three different areas of their value. We went with their GDP, their consumer price index, and their foreign domestic investments. Now, with the GDP, the United Kingdom's overall GDP is $2.849 trillion with a growth of 2.25% over the last year. Overall, between our three countries, the United Kingdom does have the lowest GDP. With the United States, their GDP is $17.947 trillion with a growth of 2.6% from the previous year.
Economic values, the GDP for China is $10.866 trillion at a 2.44% change from the year before. This is less than the United States, but more than the United Kingdom.
Now the Consumer Price Index, which is also known as CPI, the overall Consumer Price Index for the United States is 108.7, which is the lowest out of all three of the countries. And the United Kingdom has the Consumer Price Index of 111.84.
Looking at the Consumer Price Index for China, that comes in at 122.98, which is higher than the United States, and also it's higher than the United Kingdom.
And lastly, the foreign direct investment. The foreign direct investment, $379.434 billion. And the foreign direct investment for the United Kingdom is $50.439 billion.
The foreign direct investment in China is $249.859 billion, which is higher than the UK but lower than the US. Looking at economic freedom on a scale of 1 to 10, Hong Kong was given the ratings of 9.3 and first in the world for size of government, 8.1 and 10th in the world for their legal system and property rights, a 9.4 on their sound money, which ranked 43rd in the world, a 9.4 in freedom to trade internationally, and that ranked 2nd in the world, and lastly they were given a 9.0 on the regulations, where they ranked 1st in the world. So overall, China, specifically Hong Kong, is number 1 in the world when it comes to economic freedom at an overall percentage of 80.3.
The United Kingdom was given the ranking of 6.2 with their size of government, where they ranked 93rd in the world. They were given a score of 7.8 for their legal system and property rights, where they were 17th in the world. For their sound money, they were given a 9.8, where they ranked 8th. A 8.3 for freedom to trade internationally, where they ranked 20th. And they were ranked 7.6 in regulations, where they ranked 48th in the world. The United States were given a rating of 4.4, where they were ranked 78th in the world on their size of government. They were given a 7.1 for their legal system and property rights, where they ranked 27th in the world. A 9.4, where they ranked 40th in the world based on their sound money. They received a 7.6 on their freedom on international trade, where they ranked 60th in the world. And lastly, the regulations were received at 8.3, where they ranked 8th in the world.
So then that leads us to corruption, and based on the Corruption Perceptions Index, China came in 83 out of 168 countries, and they received a score of 37 out of 100 for its corruption. So not very good.
The United States was given 16th out of 168 countries, and they got a score of 76 out of 100. The United Kingdom was ranked 10th out of 168 countries. They received a score of 81 out of 100 for how corrupt they were. So overall, each country has a great aspect to them. The United States landed mostly in the middle for the most part with how they are perceived as a country. They were the middle for corrupt and with economic freedom, but they also have the highest GDP. The United Kingdom was the least corrupt out of all three of these countries, but they were kind of also in the middle, or they were leaning towards pretty much with the United States based on it.
With China, they basically have the most economic freedom in the world. However, they are the most corrupt country compared to the other two that we chose to do for our assignment.